Comic-Con 2022 Severance panel. We're going to talk about it here. Let's go. Welcome back to AsArt. My name is Nick, and I have a special guest with me, a subscriber, Matt. It was so awesome. He connected with me at Comic-Con. He saved me a seat in the third row at the panel. We sat together the whole time. We had such a good time. We were talking. I was like, dude, we have to do a video. We got to talk about this. We're here. We're going to talk about it. I even have notes. It's going to be great. Welcome, Matt.
Hi. Thank you.
So, yeah, we're going to jump into it. Just so you know, here on AsArt, we cover Severance, believe it or not. We even have Severance shirts, Outie. So if you want to go to asart.space, you can find all of our links and handles and where to find us, our audio, podcast, all that good stuff, asart.space. And yeah, we're just going to jump into it. But and we also do reviews on the show too, just in case if you're a first-time viewer. Okay, guys. So this was so cool. Ben Stiller was there. Adam Scott. Britt was there. She plays Heliar. The actor that plays Milchek, his name was Tamrell or something. Trammell.
I wrote it down because I never remember.
Okay, perfect.
Names.
I was like, what was his name? I want to just call him Milchek all the time. Yeah. And then we had Jen there who plays Devin, and then Miss Casey there. Oh, what was the actress's name for Miss Casey?
Let's see. I wrote that down too. I try to be prepared, you know. Her name is Deshen Lat, but I'm probably messing up that name.
Yes.
You know?
It was so much fun. And then the writer was there, Dan. Erickson.
Dan Erickson,
right?
yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, so it was awesome. And then oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the names, but we had an excellent host for the panel. Remy.
Yeah, no, or Ratatouille, right? It's Patton Oswalt was.
Patton Oswalt. It was like full on his character from Parks and Rec, by the way. I don't know if you if you remember Parks and Rec, but when he's doing the filibuster, he's like, and the Marvel universe will cross over with the Star Wars universe. They totally had that vibe throughout the panel, and it was awesome. Yeah. So before we jump into notes, Matt, did you have any good takeaways from the panel?
Well, first off, I got to meet you, and I mean, I swear I was in that room for like at least 6 or 7 hours. So by the time the Severance panel, because that's the only reason I really went. But by the time they got up there, I was tired of sitting down. I mean, the chairs are okay, you know. And then I saw that you had posted on like that you were walking around Comic-Con, and I was like, oh, let me try to message him and let him know he's got to get over here to the Severance panel. And then you wrote me back magically, and then somehow like I was gonna save you a seat, and you happened to be like right there, and I think you were asking me for the same seat, and then I was like, oh yeah, I was saving you the seat, so it worked out great.
So awesome. Yeah. I know, because I was trying to get close, and you saved me big time there. You saved me big time, and I have a whole story to tell afterwards about how I even got in the first place. It's pretty crazy. It's going to be fun. So if you want to hear that story, it'll be at the end. But let's go into some points. So right off the bat, they showed a bloop. Not right off the bat, but they showed a blooper reel. Yeah. That was the only video they showed, and that was just so much fun, just seeing them mess up on lines, but especially the scenes with Irving and Bert. Man, those were the best. They were like getting all close and it just was so good. I wish you guys could see them. I don't know if they're public yet. If they are, I'll probably overlay them now while we're talking, but they told us not to film any video stuff. So I did not film any video stuff, but I did film stuff of the panel too, which is on TikTok. I'll be posting them as shorts, and you might even see them here in this video. So I did my best to film whatever I can, but it's hard to hold the phone up for 2 hours. I was kind of doing it in like pieces. But did you like any of the bloopers? Did any of them stand out to you?
Oh, okay. It was great. I mean, you know, you sit through a number of panels, but this was definitely the best one because the stuff Irving was doing, like I don't know, just playing with up and down at the office.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was just like there's a lot of comedy in the show that you appreciate while you're watching it, but just seeing it all together under the bloopers, you're like, that's why this cast is so great, because they just have it, you know. And it's awesome. So.
And that's a perfect segue, because Ben Stiller, when he read the script, he saw it as a comedy, he was saying. And he said he really saw Office Space, The Office, the British and the US version, and Parks and Rec, which is funny because Adam Scott's in the show.
Yeah.
But so he was talking about how he really saw it as a comedy, and it's the first time he read, he said it was super funny compared to like what the final product was, but it is a funny show. I laughed a lot while watching the show. Like there's some great themes and stuff like that within the show, but there's a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of good comedy to be had at the show. And I thought that was such a good insight. This was a good panel. There was a lot of good nuggets we got from this panel. And that was one of them. It's like, that's so cool. Cause you do get Office vibes and you definitely get Office Space vibes.
Yeah. And I think even Ben Stiller said that he read it originally. When he read about it, he thought it was like a comedy, but then they changed it to a more serious drama series. But when the comedy moments come out, you really see them because you're not expecting it. And and I agree.
Yeah, totally. He said it was like a bonus, right? He was like, yeah, it's kind of like a bonus because you're not expecting it. So like when it's there, it's like, oh, it's amazing. So yes, that's right. He did say that. Yeah. And what's interesting too. So Eric has been Dan Erickson has been trying to make this movie or this show for 10 years now, right?
Yeah.
Like he wrote the script 10 years ago and then Ben Stiller read it 5 years ago. So this has been like a long time in the making, this process.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes it's like wine, right? You know, like if you let it sit, the better it gets, right?
Yeah, because Dan Erickson even said when he was coming up with it that he got it from the misery of working. What do you say? He worked at a factory for doors or something like that. And
yeah, something pretty lame.
And I like that's part of the appeal of the show that I found too. Is I think we've all been there where we have worked somewhere and you're just like, you know, I do wish I could just fast forward till the end of the day. So,
and that's where his inspiration came, right? He was like, if I can just block it off and we can split it. And which was interesting too, because Ben Stiller mentioned it's kind of an actual procedure, right? Like it's a real procedure. I think they even had a doctor on set too for that scene. I was like, what? Yeah. That's crazy.
I think they said he was in the scene. And
that's right.
I'm like, wow, they really put a lot of effort into it, you know. They, and that's why it makes it so like, I think it touches everybody that watches it because you're just like, this is so could happen. I could see it so easily happening. So
it's kind of like the same reason why The Office had so much success, right? Because like everyone works, right? Like even if you don't work like in a cubicle, there's a lot of things that happen at work that are similar. And it's very similar with Lumen, right? There's things we do want to forget, and there's things we really hate about our job, and things we hate about the people in higher positions of our job. And you know what I mean? Like there's just like things, and everyone's job probably has a room filled with goats too somewhere. Yeah. And it's just you know, it's just the goats. Oh my gosh. Yes. Sorry to jump, but there was an awesome Q&A question. They're like, are we going to get answers on the goats basically? Yeah. And they said, yes.
Yeah. But that was it. It didn't clarify, but they're just like, answers come. So.
Exactly. So we don't know if it's season 2 or season 5 when the answers will be revealed, but hopefully we'll get answers.
Yeah.
Please don't be like Raised by Wolves.
Oh,
like we want to finish the season. By the way, hashtag save Raised by Wolves. And if you haven't already, go to saveraisedbywolves.org and information on what you can do to save the show. And then I gotta drop that. It's such a good show too.
Yeah, I mean sometimes fans do save shows, so
it's true.
I'm hoping that's one of them.
So one thing that was so interesting too, they were talking about the sets and they actually built the Lumen floor.
Yeah.
Like the whole severed floor with hallways and everything to the point where it's like there's hallways that lead to nowhere. And I think Adam Scott even said like he would get lost a couple times. Yeah. And he would shout like, hey, this is Adam. Can someone please find me?
Yeah. And I think that would happen to anybody because all the walls are white and like it's like an empty colorless space, you know, where you're just like, where the heck am I, you know?
Yeah, and it's so cool. And it was also cool to hear how much they played with the camera angles too, because he's like, there's only so much you can do with the camera angle, especially in the rooms and stuff like that. But then Irving was able to really have fun with the up and down. And they were just talking about how good it was with the timing and his jokes of like how he would throw the barrier down on the cubicle to talk and put it back up and put it back down. And it's just, he's such a talented actor.
Oh, he's great. He is awesome. One of my favorites. So Yeah.
He's always so good. And anything he does, if it's like Mr. Deeds to Severance, like he's always good.
Yeah. And him and Christopher Walken together just,
Oh
I
my
mean, it
gosh,
was
so
almost
good.
like a whole series by itself just watching those two.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and then what they mentioned too, they were talking about in the panel how in the last episode he doesn't say anything for the whole episode
Yeah.
until the end when he shouts Bert, but like his acting's so good where he just is able to relay so much emotion and thought through his character without even words.
Yeah,
It's
and
just,
I mean, I didn't even realize that till they had said it. Because I think they said that they had actually written him some lines, and he felt like he didn't need the lines; he could just go through it, and that's just amazing. So,
yeah,
yeah.
super talented, much more talented than I. And
No, that's not true. You know,
oh, thank you.
when
keep it
when I
coming.
was sitting next to you, I was like, "This is a world of talent right next to me."
Oh, thank you so much. I don't deserve it. And then speaking about good acting, Milchek, right?
Oh yeah.
That what was the actor's name again? I just don't want
Let me
to.
look at my notes. It's
I want to give him credit.
Trammell
He's
Tillman,
Trammell.
and I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised if
Trammell.
we don't see him in other places too, because he is really a good actor.
He's so talented, and it was so interesting too because Trammell didn't break character at all,
Yeah.
except for one time they said with Adam Scott when he told him to make what kind of face was it again? It was a kind eyes. He's like Mark, can you do kind eyes? And he said he broke character when Adam tried to make kind eyes. He said that's the only time he broke character.
Yeah.
Other than that, he was always in character and he did such a good job compared to probably the other goof offs on stage. You know.
Yeah.
So and it was really cool hearing that and his whole dance sequence too. They were breaking down how they were just like throwing the dance party and stuff like that. It was such a good panel.
Yeah, and the dance party too. I don't. It was interesting how they said that the cast didn't even know that the office could turn into a dance party, and they said they had been filming for like 8 months in the space, and nobody told them, and so.
That's right. And it was a total surprise for them.
Yeah.
And it like relayed on camera too.
Yeah,
like big time. Because they're like stuck in this workspace. All of a sudden he's like dancing around and around people and stuff. It's so perfect.
Yeah.
It's so perfect. Kind eyes. That's so good. And then okay. So MDR, they have the program, right? The job that they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a real program, they said. They actually built a program that they would actually do for work and stuff. And do you remember who they said was the best at it?
Yeah, it was
Zach Cherry, right?
Yeah.
I won't ever forget that guy's name because he has the same last name as me, believe it or not, Cherry.
Yeah.
So it's like I cannot forget his name. But but it's so funny how he was like the best in the show. And he's also the best off camera.
And I think that's why he does so good in the show at showing off like his finger traps and stuff, is because he knows in real life he could earn all those. So that waffle party was his,
Oh, the waffle party. I remember when I saw the episode too, I was like, where is this show going? That was like the point where I was like, what the heck was that the same episode with the goats? I can't remember, but there was like one episode where like all the stuff went down where I was like, okay, though, this caught me off guard kind of thing. Yeah. And then the subs here, they pointed out there was a painting with all the whip and had like all the different characters with the heads and all that, like in episode 2 when Irving goes for his first wellness checkup. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wellness checkup. That's right.
Miss Casey
was there too. And it was really, the best part was at the end, right? They wanted her to give us some words of affirmation to the audience. And I think Dan gave her the line, right?
Yeah. Cause she was like, what?
She was caught off
guard. And then so he gave it to her and then she did it perfectly, just like on the show. It was I felt amazing. I felt definitely closer to my Outie,
That's so awesome. And then she had a question too. I can't remember the question she had for the writer, Dan. She was like, is there a connection? Or she was asking about some sort of thing with the connection. I couldn't remember it for the life of me now. Oh my gosh. But Jen, she plays Devin. Right.
Yeah. And
one of the things that stood out to me on the panel was when it came to reading the scripts, they said they gave everyone the full season or the full script, right, for the whole season. and she decided just to read the parts outside of Lumen.
Yeah.
So her character, when she was interacting with Mark and stuff like that in the scene, wouldn't actually know what's going on inside of Lumen. And I thought that was so cool. It's so smart to do.
Well, yeah, but it's got to be hard because I know if it was me, I would be reading through the whole thing going, oh, that's what happens? What?
Goats?
Like day 2 of filming, I'm like, what's up with these goats? What's going on here? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, everyone, it was so much fun. It was such a cool panel. Everyone was very chill, very open. No one really felt nervous or uncomfortable up there. The questions were really good at the end. I can't remember a lot of the Q&A questions. The one that stood out to me was the goats.
Yeah.
The goats. Oh, and it was confirmed that Milchek is not severed.
Yes.
That was confirmed at the panel, which I think we kind of knew, but it's just nice to know because it's like with these shows, it could be a twist, where it's like Harmony all of a sudden has been severed or something like that. But
yeah.
But there's so many different programs, right?
Yeah.
Like we know the only one we saw was Overtime, and that was the one that it was like overtime. It's like after work hours.
Yeah.
Like they were able to go after work. But there was so many more. Like he couldn't have been the elephant or the goldfish one, or one of the ones that just reset his memory completely. Because we also know too, maybe Irving had his memory reset or something because he paints the black elevator. So he's been down on the subfloor before. So that was it was the radar question. She asked about radar.
Yeah, because that's his dog's name, right? Yeah.
And I think it was it Ablid that line or was written in, or there was something where like she wanted to know if it was a connection. It was something like, oh, I'm butchering it. I'm not even going to say it because I'm butchering it. If I find it online, I'll play it here. If not, you guys just have me rambling nonsense. And was there any other things that stood out to you from the panel?
They said Milchek, they never show him on the outside. And so right. Probably in the next coming seasons, they're going to show him on the outside. And that should be interesting.
And they were kind of dodging that too, kind of, right? They were kind of like skimming over the line like, we're probably show him, right? It was like we can't say, but we're going to say, but we're not going to say kind of thing.
They didn't give a whole lot of what was coming. Like they said that they wanted to show more about what how Lumen was perceived in the outside world and everything, but you still have no idea where everything is going. So
did we see Milchek? Oh, I guess the only time we saw Milchek outside of Lumen was when he went to what's his name's house the first time they did the overtime thing in his closet, but he was still kind of in that character right?
That's because inside that closet he was at work, right? So it still counts as being at
always
the office.
Working.
Yeah.
He never clocks out. He's a robot, man. That's amazing. Yeah. And then what was the last thing I was gonna say? They don't look at Reddit.
Yeah, well,
for theories and stuff. Well, kind of, right?
Milchek said that he was hearing about Reddit, and he was like, okay, and he went into it for like 15 minutes, and it was so many comments about like his sex appeal and dancing moves, and then he was like, okay, I got to get off this.
Yeah, and I think Dan mentioned like he has checked some theories and stuff, and he says sometimes the theories are better than what he's coming up with. And he said he also doesn't want to look at them though too, because he has his story and he doesn't want it to, influence, what he's right. He's doing his best to write his own original story without being influenced by Reddit, I guess you can say.
Because I would think,
or by people like us.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, that theory makes way more sense than what I was gonna do. I think also it's because when you write, like, you already have a plan and they already have like the sets and stuff and location. So if you were going to backtrack, that would probably mess you up. So, yeah. But it was interesting to hear that they don't read the Reddit comments. So,
yeah, no, very interesting. I wish someone asked about the artwork on the walls. I'm very curious about how the artwork on the walls are going to predict things that are going to happen in the future or something like that.
So when I was getting ready to go, I was like, okay, this is the one. I always go to these panels. I never ask a question. I'm like, I'm going to ask a question. And then I'm thinking like, what am I going to ask about? And then I was like, maybe I'll ask Kelly, like how she threw the speaker at Like, how many times did that take to actually throw it, you know? But I was like,
Uh,
I'm not gonna ask that. So I couldn't come
but
up with anything good.
you just re-jogged my memory.
Yeah.
Originally in the pilot,
Oh,
Mark was gonna be on the table, and Hallie R was gonna be like in Mark's spot.
yeah.
Then they ended up switching it. But like that's crazy. Like that's a huge twist because we know with Hallie R and her background now, and like I'm not going to say too many spoilers. Well, spoilers. I should have said that at the beginning. But anyways, it's a panel. There's going to be spoilers. But we know how she's kind of connected to Lumen. I'm just that's going to be far enough. But anyways, it would have totally changed the dynamic of the story.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
now she's the one really driving. Like, hey, what are we doing here? Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Let's do this. I don't want to be here. And
Yeah.
I like her character a lot.
Oh yeah, I couldn't see it happening the other way. I'm glad that they
Yeah.
they did it this way. Yeah, something about her and like just how she's fighting the whole idea of it from the beginning and everything. And
Yes.
yeah, it's good. So, and they didn't even talk about Petey at all. And I know his
No.
but they didn't talk about his whole storyline or anything like that. And
There's not enough time in an hour.
well, I think that panel was like 2 hours. It was a long panel, and they covered a lot of stuff.
It was a long panel, and they gave a good amount of time for questions too, which was nice.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping for some season 2 teaser stuff, but it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah.
I'll wait. I'm patient.
Oh,
I'm
I
patient.
remembered. I just remembered that they were talking about in the beginning that the whole look of the show had a different look to it, and it was a lot more trippy. And
That's right.
then
Legs walking.
yeah,
right?
and we found out that was Patton Oswalt because he claimed it. He said,
That's right. Yeah. He said, but yeah, he said like there was like legs just walking around. And so it would be more trippy goat stuff probably in like originally. So that kind of gives us a floor plan where this can go too. Like it could get a lot trippier. I mean, with the opening sequence, it's already kind of trippy anyways, right? Because you have like the different versions of Mark and multiple people. So are there clones of clones? What's going down? Is Miss Casey a clone? Is she not a clone? Was she even in the car when the accident happened? Like there's so many unanswered questions we need answered.
yeah.
And then okay, so I got to just tell you guys the funny story. So I was running around Comic-Con trying to do everything I could because that's what you do at Comic-Con. And I was like, oh no, the time I got to get to the panel because it was a pretty big hall. I think it was hall 20.
Ballroom 20. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a bigger ballroom. So I'm like, oh no, that means there's gonna be more of a line to get in. And I went there and the line was like all the way down the hallway, and I was like, I'm not gonna make it, even if there's a seat saved for me. And then one of the Apple people, I don't know, maybe their media team or whatever, they come over and they saw my shirt. They're like, Outie, oh, are you a fan of the show? I'm like, yes. Like, why else would I? Yes, I'm a fan of the show. And then she was like, do you mind answering a question? I was like, will it get me in? She's like, yeah, we'll get you in right after. I'm like, I'll do whatever. Come on, I just have to get in there. So they pulled me out of line. They walked me all the way to the front to this guy with the camera. They had me do an interview. It was all kind of a blur. I don't know if I made any sense at all, but I was trying to praise the show as much as possible. And then they gave me a Lumen pen, which I thought was cool. It was like the one that they had in the show, because that's what I had to sign my rights away to afterwards. And then I got in, and it was just so perfect. It was so perfect. Everything worked out. It was a great panel. Got to meet you, Matt, which was probably awesome just to meet you. And just, you're so chill. It was so much fun, even because we talked for like an hour before it even started. We were just talking, having fun, talking about shows and other things, and it was just awesome.
I was worried because like I started talking to you, and then my wife was sitting right next to me. Well, I just ignored her. I'm like, okay, I'm having conversations about Severance, and we were talking about a few other things, and it just that made my day. Really, it did. I mean, I was glad to see the panel and stuff, but I was like, yeah, pretty cool.
It's just fun, and that's what we like to do. We just like to nerd out, and I love having other people on the conversation because it's just so much fun. Everyone has their own unique opinion, which is probably better than mine. I mean, I read your guys' comments. Your theories blow mine away most of the time. I'm just a dum-dum up here with a mic and a camera. But thank you guys so much. If you have any other comments or questions, please put them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And maybe we'll even do a comment video afterwards just talking about more Severance stuff. And Matt's awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. All of our audio video links are at asart.space. Subscribe to stay updated to all of our video content, and we'll see you on the next AsArt. Woo! That was good. 28 minutes. Damn,
That's good.
man.
That's good.
Good job. That was good, man. You're a natural, dude.
Well,